I'm Gabby Wilson for MTV News, and I'm here with Black. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
No problem.
So the most recent thing that you have done is you hopped on a feature on Dreezy's Spar.
All right.
Why was that? How did that song come together, first of all?
Spar actually was just like a crazy beat. My guy Singh kind of like handed it off to me, one of the producers I work with. And more than anything, it was just like a stream. Like, you know, it wasn't really like a thought out process of this is going to be the verse, these will be like the features or anything like that. I had a verse, Dreezy had a verse, Kodak had a verse, and it all just like worked out perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was like the theme of it, you guys are pretty much like dragging Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Was that talked about before you guys like
Everybody,
started contributing your
everybody
verses?
kind of like was on, like
The
they had
same
their own,
wavelength.
you know, their own idea of what their verse should be and what it should be talking about. Luckily, it all like lined up and like made perfect sense. My verse was kind of centered around, you know, just saying like I'm not a politician, but there are some things, you know, that I like to address, and I have a daughter, so I have to like make sure I address them. And then Dreezy kind of picked up off of that, gave you like the full rundown, and then Kodak kind of summarized it all, and that was it.
Yeah, well, I think it's important, especially that line, I'm not a politician, but then you're still willing to speak out about
Yeah.
it, because politics affect everyone.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're not, if you like don't think of yourself as a
Yeah.
politics person.
Yeah, because I mean, more than anything, like politics are social things, you know.
Right.
So you don't have to be a politician, you don't have to be involved, you don't have to like, you know, candidates or anything like that. But if you're in tune with what's going on in the world, you got to know something. So
Definitely.
that's all.
Wow, that's wild that none of you really like talked about it
Yeah.
beforehand.
It just happened.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
I imagine you saw the Eminem BET Hip Hop Freestyle.
Yes,
What did
I
you think
did.
of that?
Anytime anyone is speaking up, I'm for it.
Yeah.
That's like literally the simplest way I can put it.
Why do you think it's important for hip hop artists in particular to make their voices heard when it comes to politics?
I think because right now and for like maybe the last decade, hip hop has been, you know, the forefront of music. You know, it's been the most popular genre. It's been the most, you know, the fastest growing. So with all that, you know, traffic and all that attention and all, you know, the things that come with being a hip hop artist, why would we not, you know, be on the forefront of social issues? You know?
Hmm, definitely. So, rewinding back a little bit further, the song that you did with Ritual,
Right.
Drown the Lovers, has
Right.
a completely different vibe. It's much
Yeah.
softer, more sensitive.
Yeah.
Are you, as you're creating new music, are you veering in one direction or the other?
Nope, I'm
No.
veering in every direction that I
Yeah.
can possibly go. Like, people ask me what kind of music I make all the time, and for the most part, it's whatever I'm feeling, you know, when
Yeah.
I wake up. You can box it as R&B, and then the next day it'll be a, you know, a rap verse like Spar.
Mhm.
I just kind of wake up and go off of how I feel. Drown the Lovers was one of those songs that I loved, and I stumbled on after they did a remix of my song Loyal. And by the time like they reached out to me, I had already knew the song. So
Mhm.
I was like, of course I'll do it, you
Mhm.
know, like no matter what.
What was the process of making that song like?
The song was already beautifully written by them, and they reached out, sent over the files. I kind of locked in, and you know, I spent maybe a few days with my verse just because I wanted it to be perfectly written because they perfectly wrote the song.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was it.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people really came around to you when Free Black dropped.
Right.
It's sort of like a beloved album within the like the new wherever R&B is going right now. It's definitely like a standout album in that space. How are you gonna follow that up?
Yeah, I think more importantly is just like recognizing the transition in my life. That was a summary of everything leading up to that moment, and now the only thing I feel obligated to talk about is what's going on right now. I'm gonna.
What does that mean for you?
You know, I'm more reflective of everything, of where I am. You know, life has kind of like happened fast. Everything's changed. I have a daughter. I have like all this different stuff going on. So those will, you know, mainly be the topics. And as far as the sound goes, just progression. That's all. You know, like I don't have to try to do anything too crazy or too left field or anything like that. Just progression. That's all.
Hmm. Because you do have like such eclectic interests in where you want your sound to go and what you can do with
Right.
your sound. Does it make the process of creating like a full album sort of difficult because you like want it to sort of sound cohesive in any
I mean,
way?
I think everything ends up being cohesive just because of like how I record and like how I write in general.
Mm.
Like I don't randomly just like write about something that has nothing to do with my life right now. I lock in, I make hundreds of songs, and then I narrow it down, you know, and and that is always a cohesive project. You know, it's always the same topics for the most part, or everything kind of has a storyline to it. With the last project, I recorded maybe about, well, a lot of songs.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just process of elimination, and then we got to like a point where a lot of songs made sense, and I just filled in the blanks.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't think it's not really that hard, honestly. You know, I just make music, and they kind of like put themselves in the place of an album.
If you had to ballpark, since Free Black dropped, how much material are you sitting on right now?
A couple hundred songs.
A couple hundred songs.
Yeah, a few hundred. Definitely.
That's wild. How many of them do you think will see the light of day in like the next year?
That's always a question. I've made a couple hundred songs a few times,
Yeah.
so you make a couple hundred songs, and who knows how many of them actually drop. One day, though, off the record, on the record, since I'm on camera, you never know. I might be feeling froggy one day, just like upload 100 songs to the internet.
Oh, all right.
You never know. Maybe some years from now, but I think I love a lot of the music I make, and obviously everything is not going to make an album or a mixtape. But, you know, fans deserve to hear music, so
Totally.
one day, you never know.
One day you'll just be like, you know what?
Here you go.
I've got a few albums lined up.
Yeah.
Here's the rest of the
Yeah,
vault.
vlog in somewhere anonymous maybe, and just like upload. Don't
I
tell my
stumbled
label.
upon-
I'll say don't tell my label. I said that.
It's cool. You can send them to me, and then I'll just leak them out.
There you go. There you go.
Well, besides working on music, what else is going on for you in terms of like your art?
Touring. A lot of touring. I just finished the Legend of the Fall tour with the Weeknd, and that tour taught me everything I need to know to go back on the road now. Started with San Diego, and then jumped to Australia, then came back, and now I'm like doing the U.S. run. But everything I needed to learn, I learned on my last tour, and you know, as far as crowd control, stage presence, like I learned a lot, and now I get to actually put it into effect.
Yeah. Was there anything that the Weeknd taught you in particular?
More than anything, you know, I watched the show every night. Like every night he performed, I was out there watching. So, you know, more than anything, it was just stage presence, crowd control, and consistency. You know, like to do the same thing every single night for a year, because he's been touring like nonstop.
For so long, yeah.
So that's amazing to me.
Yeah. Have you learned about like stamina also, I imagine? Like,
I've actually been like in the best conditioning like shape of my life. A year ago, I would get off stage after about an hour and be like about to throw up, like a little woozy, need to sit down. But now I walk off stage, I'm still like pumped and everything. So
Sure. Well, not even physical stamina, but like mental stamina.
Yeah.
Be doing like the same songs every night for
Yeah.
so long.
I mean, sometimes it's just like you just wake up and press play. You know, it's
Yeah.
just like, this is my life. I love to do it. Of course, it's gonna be like routine after a while, but every time I step out, I feel like I'm doing my first show. So I never really lose, you know, the
Yeah,
love
that's
for
cool
it.
and refreshing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. It was great talking to you.
Thank
man.
you.
I wish you all the best.
I appreciate it.